what I want to do right now is, if you would, is to have that piece of paper up high, okay? Whatever piece of paper you have, I want you to have a piece of paper up high, just raise it up like that, okay? All right, very good. So we're going to do an exercise right now. There's 2 rules for this exercise. How many rules? 2 rules. Rule number 1 is you want to close your eyes, okay? Rule number 2, you want to follow my instructions without asking any questions. Ooh. All right, you ready? All right, so have this up high, close your eyes. All right, so now put your wallet and give me all your money. No, that's a joke. All right, so go ahead and fold that piece of paper in half. Okay, close your eyes, fold that piece of paper in half. Now, tear out the upper right corner. Rip it out, the upper right corner. Now fold that piece of paper in half again. Rip out the lower right corner. And the upper right corner. Okay, very good. So when you're done, unfold that piece of paper the way it was. And lift it up high. And open your eyes and look around you. What do you see? What do you see? What do you notice? Different. Yeah. What else? Wow, that was very talented. How you came up with that? It's very cool. Okay. You got all these kind of cool shapes right there going on. All right, very good. So what do you notice? What had just happened right here? Same instructions, different results. Does this happen at work? What's the cost? What's the impact when this happens at work? Could be bad. Like what?
Time and money.
Time, money, having to do this job all over again, frustration, broken relationships, legal ramifications, okay? So all of those could be costly, okay? Now, let's look at what happened here, okay? How many way communication it was? It was a one-way communication. I was just telling you, giving you instructions, and you weren't supposed to ask me any questions back. So it was a one-way communication. So what's rule number 1 in communication? Has to be two-way. Okay, that's rule number 1. Okay, very good. What second thing that happened? What other thing that happened? What's that? You couldn't see it. You could have your eyes closed, so you couldn't even see. You couldn't see the body language, okay? So what's rule number 2 in communication? Body language. You're going to make sure that you have your proper body language, okay? Now, sometimes on the phone that you can't see body language, okay? We're going to talk about that. But body language is very important in communication, okay? Good. What else happened? The instruction weren't extreme details. I was just telling you fold it in half. Which half is it, Tim? Okay? And I saw you like, which half is it? Is it the upper right? Right? Which half? Okay, so they were not clear. What else? How come everybody kind of came up with different results in a way? Can you consider the fact that we have different filters we see through? We have different interpretation of the message, right? We hear one thing and we interpret it differently. Yes? Okay? So that's what takes place in communication too. Which we call it static. Okay? We call it static. What is it called? Static. Okay, this is what's going on here in the middle. So there's a send the communication across, and it goes through a static before it gets to the receiver. So I'm going to explain to you right now a communication model that we're going to be adapting for between today and tomorrow. So we receive information through our 5 senses. Okay, we see, we hear, we touch, we smell, and we taste. Okay, and then it goes to our brain, and we create an internal representation. What's the word? Internal representation. Okay, and internal representation, it will be in forms of 2 things: a movie or a picture. What are they? Movie or a picture. We make a picture or a movie in our head when we receive that information. Before it gets there, it goes through a filter. Okay, it goes through the filter. So the filters is consisted from our meta programs, something that we are programmed since we were growing up. Okay, our programming, our conditioning. Could be something like, our value system. Do we value, for example, work over relationships? Do we value getting things done versus having to be nice to someone? What do we value? Okay, that's where, that's what we're listening through. Belief system, okay? Do we believe, for example, that knowledge is power? Okay, if you give knowledge to others, that means you're giving your power away. Okay, it all comes from, we're listening through that filter as well. Another example would be something like a decision we made in the past. For example, in the past, I helped a coworker, and that coworker went and he kind of went to my supervisor and he snitched on me. So I made a decision that I would not trust a coworker. Okay, that's something we listened through. Okay, from the past. Memories, something like in the past happened where, you were called into your boss's office and he said, you know what, I need to have a word with you. Okay, and you ended up to be what? Fired. Okay, so now when you hear the word, I need to have a word with you, boom, you think it's going to be a bad thing. Okay, we call it filter. We listen through these filters. So now it goes through the filters and we make an internal representation in forms of two things. What are they? Movie or a picture. Okay, very good. And after that, depending on the picture or the movie, it creates a certain state, emotional state. If it's a positive movie, if it's a positive picture, we're going to feel good. If it's a negative movie or negative picture, we're going to start feeling bad. Okay? And then that's going to manifest in your physiology. If you are feeling good, then your body's going to open up. You're going to start breathing deep. Okay, you're probably going to smile. And if you're feeling bad, you are going to kind of close up. Your shoulders will hunch, okay, and you start breathing shallow, okay? And guess what? The physiology is going to dictate your behavior. How many of you you are very competent at what you do, you had one of these days where you just like everything's going wrong throughout the day? How many of you have been in places like that, right? Though that you've done the job right, you've done it so many times, you know how to do it, you're just not feeling good, and because your state is impacting your physiology, and your physiology is impacting the behavior that you're doing, okay? So, right now what I want to do is, I want you to apply, I want you to actually experience it. So what I want to do right now, if you would, is I want you to sit back on your chairs with your feet flat on the floor, okay? And I just want you to relax. Okay, and what I want you to do right now is I want you to close your eyes, okay, and remember a moment, okay, close your eyes, remember a moment, specific moment when you felt frustrated about something that happened recently at work, okay? Remember a time that you got frustrated about something that bothered you at work. What happened? And if you notice, you might have a picture in your head, or you might have a movie in your head. So go ahead and play that movie if it's a movie, or if it's a picture, just see that picture, okay? And if you notice now, you start having a feeling associated with that. If it's something that's frustrating you, you start feeling a little bit, heavy, okay? And as you do, you probably like your shoulders are like kind of like drooping, your breathing starts becoming a little bit shallow, okay? All right, good. So I want you to get out of that state, open your eyes, shake your body. I don't want you to stay there, okay? How many of you actually notice that what you see, when you picture in your head, is going to manifest in your state? How many of you saw that, okay? Good. So now on the opposite